Thank y'all for being here tonight. You all will go ahead and stand and say the pledge.
There might be an part of it.
Okay. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Greg, thanks for leading that off. That's what I'm here for. Modifications to the agenda. I'm going to ask if there's no objection from the board. We add the sound system bid to the agenda so we can get that rolling. We did get the CFO grant, one for EOC, one for the city. EOC has generously said they want to use that. This is a higher priority for the speaker system, sound system for in here. So the city will be at $167 on top of that. So if there's no objection, we'll add it to, we'll make it 10B. No objection, all right. Citizens' comments. Yes, ma'am. So, if you don't mind, we have the pedestal now if you want to come up, and it's okay. That way we can hear you better too.
You can lean on it.
Yeah.
I so don't like this. Okay. I'd like to know what to do in a dog attack.
In a dog attack?
Yeah.
Okay. So the immediate thing I would recommend is call 911.
Well, if you're being attacked, you don't really have that time.
So the quickest you can get to a phone and dial 911. What are you asking? What's
I'm asking if a dog is biting you
Uh-huh.
and actually attacking you, are you allowed to hit it?
You're allowed to protect yourself, yes.
Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to know, if I would be able to hit it with anything I happen to have in my hand at the time.
To protect yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because there were different articles in the paper, and I thought some of them were totally insane.
Okay.
If you're being bitten, you don't really, you can't call 911 right
Correct.
then. It's,
So I understand. Do what you can to get away from the threat, and then as quick as you can dial 911
Okay, thanks.
and protect yourself. You're welcome.
If that were to happen to me, I'd pick up anything I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
Cinder block, rock, club.
Well, that's really
Anything.
what I thought of. And when you know where I live.
Hmm?
When I'm on that piece on Walnut Street, there are a lot of roaming dogs, some of which are really aggressive. And I just take my potato fork with me when I go back
Yeah.
there for digging up stuff, and God help the dog that decides he's going to come after me,
Yeah.
because I'll let him have it.
Whenever you see the dogs like that, have you called 911 to have animal control come over there?
Yeah,
Have they been making an effort to get over there? But I'm sure what's the time they get there, or once they get there?
yeah, a lot of times,
You identify, have you ever seen where the dogs are coming from?
Oh, yeah,
At one of the houses? Have you let animal control know that?
yeah.
Okay.
And I've been accused of harassing my neighbor for that, so.
Oh,
We won't
okay.
go there.
Can I ask more questions as far as this goes?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you, Jeannie.
not a problem. Actually, I have a picture on my phone of this dog, and it's a conversation that's been going around. This dog has been seen quite a bit in the neighborhood, attacking other dogs, bothering dogs that are in fences. Matter of fact, it's on camera. This dog bothering my dogs while they're in the fence, trying to aggressively get to my dogs. My question is this, and this was something that nobody really knew as far as on the forum. What if this dog don't survive?
As far as
This dog don't survive.
if it is attacking
If this
your-
dog's attacking my dogs, if I go out there and this dog attacks me, I'm gonna shoot it and I'm gonna kill it. I just tell you straight up. Now, what are the stipulations in town as far as that goes? Because that was the question that somebody posed. They say, well, you can get in trouble for that. Yeah, I want to know if it's worth the trouble, because if it's my dog's life or that dog's life,
We have an ordinance about, you can't fire a gun in the city limits, but it doesn't specify if you're protecting yourself.
Well,
I mean, that would be,
and I would defer to the police chief this
Yeah.
time on that specific question.
again, if that dog is attacking, and I'm like, wait a minute, dude, hang on.
Well, no, not at that time. Not at that time. Prior to, hopefully, you have brought that up to the
Okay.
chief and asked. I mean, my personal opinion is if you've done whatever you can to try and protect your animals or yourself, and it comes down to that. I mean,
Yeah, I have. I've spent like $500 in fencing. This dog belongs over on North Locust Street. I live on Lindsay Street. This dog is traveling that far and is trying to attack other animals. I'm fed up with it. And, you know, hey, I live in town. I want to, you know, I don't want to be skirting around the law or anything, and I'll ask you straight up. And you know me, I'll tell you straight up, this is my plan.
yeah.
Give me an option.
Do you know whose dog it is?
No.
Have you called 911 when you've seen it?
No, because it's like the dog's there, you know, I'm trying to get my dogs contained, and then by the time it's done, that dog splits. This dog has been seen multiple times around the neighborhood. Would you like to see what dog it is?
It's famous.
It is famous.
Facebook famous?
Facebook famous.
Absolutely.
you think it lives on North Locust somewhere?
That's what somebody had made a comment of, is that it lived over on North Locust Street. And this is, where did it go? This is no little dog. This dog is as big as my pit bull. It's aggressive towards other animals. It is aggressive towards people.
That's right outside your house?
No. That, I'm not sure where that shot come from. That was
Oh,
a shot
somebody else,
from,
okay.
I'm not sure where them blue houses are. But that's up against somebody's front porch.
Okay.
Woman had a little Pomeranian on her porch. This dog's come up to her porch twice and has attacked her Pomeranian.
So it comes from the North Locust region
Well,
area.
Here,
it's been seen all over town,
Okay.
okay? And, you know, if it gets into my fence, which I have a pretty good fortified fence, it gets into my fence, they'll see it on the middle of the road, because I'll take it down to the middle of the square and I'll dump it. And you all can come do whatever you need to me, but I'm tired of it.
We'll have a conversation with animal control,
Thank you.
see if they can
You want to see
increase
what I'm talking about?
patrolling over there.
The dog has made multiple rounds.
Actually, I was wondering.
In my cameras as well. There for a while, it was 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, multiple times. Now, 9:15 in the morning, it's over harassing. It runs free, completely
It's
free.
been on social media for almost 2 weeks now.
Okay.
Have you seen the dog
And
like
it's-
this?
Well,
It's the same dog that you're seeing, she's showing you pictures from other people.
okay.
So it is a famous animal.
Okay. I appreciate it.
You know,
Ladies?
I didn't see the picture of the dog, but
You want to see the dog?
I can look on Facebook. All right, so we just want to give an update for the YMCA. We'll start with, so Ward Branch, our downtown location for the YMCA is closing. And so we have been given the opportunity to go down there and pick up any equipment that we would need for our Buffalo branch. One of the things that we're getting are the lane lines, which Dawn will.
Yes, they're great lane lines. I think I shared last time that we may have some help from the Lebanon High School coach to come over and maybe start a team. That's confirmed, he'll do that. We've been looking in, I've asked Scott to help me in the dimensions and the paint that we need to use to paint the lines on the bottom of the pool so that we can't swim straight without them. So we'll get that taken care of before we open. And then I'll be getting with John here in the next few days so I can talk to him about drilling the holes for the anchors
Oh,
on the
yep.
lane lines.
Great.
We bought the paint so we can get the locker rooms painted, same stuff that we did last year. And then we have a work day scheduled for May 6th. So excited. That'll be Claire Boggs and the Club Interact group
Yep.
from the high school go out to do that for us. I think Scott will probably talk about the grant that he got, so I'll leave that for him.
Okay, and then I gave you guys all a flyer for the senior health fair that we have coming up. We have, I don't know, 10 to 15 vendors already going to be there. CMH is going to come and do hearing screenings, vision screenings, blood pressure. I don't even know. I should have brought the list of vendors, but a whole bunch of people are going to come and do some great things for the seniors. So excited to have that. Just want to make sure you guys were invited.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the updates.
This question, has anybody talked to anybody at the school? Is there any interest at the school?
Well, we just got the lane lines last week, so our next step now is gonna be marketing and pushing that out. So
Just want to make sure the whole
Yeah.
setup works
Mhm.
first.
And we'll hit the kids in our after-school programs, and we'll get flyers posted at the high school. But as a school function, it's not a fit because of the season.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well,
Yeah. But if we can just get 4 kids enrolled, then we will combine them with the team from Lebanon, and then they'll compete as one team that way.
During the
another opportunity for the kids.
Another
here.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Give us something else to do.
Thank you. You have the
We
citizens
might
comment.
even call them the water buffaloes.
What?
Scott's dying for that to happen.
I said that should be the name for the
I'm
Aqua
kidding.
Fit class.
I'm just joking.
Any other citizens comments?
I just have a couple things, Mayor. As we discussed earlier, a citizen, local school administrator asked if we could pave a sidewalk from the upper softball field parking lot area down to the lower field because someone's grandma wasn't able to get her wheelchair down there to watch the grandchild. Now, this has never come up to us before. I don't know if it's going to be too late. That season will be over here in a couple of weeks. Baseball's coming up. We probably don't have the funds left for this year, but maybe a consideration of putting a sidewalk from the parking lot down to the lower field in a pad so folks that need that easier access can get down there and watch their kids or grandkids play. So we did get the grants from the health department, which was $6,000 to $22. Rachel Badgett was integral in that, and then we got the money from OCAC with some other supporting agencies, which was $10,350, which gives us $16,570 to build the Western Playground, yet to be named, over off of Alberta. And with that amount of money, it looks like we're going to be able to get a small slide with some sensory play equipment, some spring riders, swing set, as well as a merry-go-round and the tables and benches that trash cans that correspond with that. So hopefully, maybe we can break ground on that this year sometime. And then I had a conversation with a gold medal winner, Rowdy Gaines, the other day. He called me and they approved the city for $4,000 to continue the 3rd grade swim lesson program. So all kids from Skyline and Buffalo that in summer school that are going into 3rd grade will get that program for free. And last year, those 2 schools had roughly 67 kids enrolled, and our goal is 80. So that grant will cover 80 kids to receive up to 8 swim lessons. The Y will, I don't know how it's going to work. We're going to administer the funds to the Y will put the program on. But that program will continue. Hopefully, my goal was for 10 years. So every 3rd grader in the region, at least in these two school districts, have an opportunity to learn how to swim safely, and with the goal of educating an entire generation of future swimmers. So that's where we're at on all of that. Soccer is running. We have 2 more Saturdays. I don't know, 85, 86 kids. Biddy soccer ended Thursday night, but we still have the other older kids still playing on Saturdays. And that seems to be going pretty well.
Excellent. Thanks for the updates. Scott. Any other citizens' comments?
I have another little problem. I
Okay.
don't know if it's under citizens' comments or what, but we'll see if it goes under this one.
Okay.
On April 17th, I had a visit from Chief Hamilton and Sergeant Anderson because my neighbor accused me of harassing him by taking pictures of him mowing excrement and debris into our yard, which his brother had already gotten a letter from our land lawyer in Springfield with a whole list of things not to do. And that was on the list. At that time, I told Chief Hamilton and Sergeant Anderson that when he mowed the back section of his yard, he would be doing the same thing, and they would be getting another call because I'd be out there taking pictures again. Sure enough, about 8:10, 8:15, and Derek was out there. The first one was his brother. Second time, Derek was out there in the dark, blowing stuff into our yard. And when I went out there, I didn't get a picture of him going east, which was blowing it into our yard, but I could certainly feel it. So, and I could hear it hit the doghouse. I did get a picture of him when he was on his way back, but the mower was off by then. But at that time, the officer came at 9:10, and it was Officer Clark who said that I was once again accused of harassing my neighbor by taking pictures. And I just want to be straight up with the city council. I'm going to be taking pictures. If I have to get a foot-by-foot array of cameras, I'll do it, because I'm tired of it. And I don't like my dogs being hit, and I really didn't like being hit. Now don't worry, if there's dog poop in here, I don't know, because once it went through the lawnmower, you know what dry dog poop or even fresh dog poop is going to do when it goes through a lawnmower. It's going to spray. This is the sticks that he runs over. He doesn't pick up sticks. He doesn't pick up his dog poop. Now I have 4 dogs. They don't leave as much behind as our Irish wolfhounds used to, but it's a significant amount. But I don't like his dog stuff coming over on us. But these are the pieces of sticks, walnut hulls, everything else. Do you need to see it closer?
I take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't like it.
Have you, so it sounds like you've already kind of started some civil action against your neighbors because your attorney sent them a letter?
Yeah.
Has
But
your attorney,
apparently he's not going to pay attention to it.
I would defer to your attorney and see what he or she recommends.
He said, take pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
So here I am.
Yeah.
Getting visits from the police department. which is okay with me, but I'm sure they don't like it. And I'll keep taking pictures and bagging stuff up. But if you get complaints, I'll just put up more cameras.
Okay. It's your property. If you want to take pictures. Thank you, Candy.
Ah, thank you.
Any other citizens' comments?
Now, Mr. Mayor, on the subject of lawn mowing, can we somehow get the word out to people once again for like the 500th time that it's not okay to mow your grass debris out into the streets? I believe that's a violation of the ordinances. And it's just kind of rude behavior.
Shouldn't be throwing it on your neighbor either.
Shouldn't be throwing it anywhere except on your own yard. I mow mine in and then rake it up and go to mulch pile.
We could maybe make that a public service announcement, Joy, and thank you.
Thanks, Joy.
I believe too, it's actually a state law against throwing it on the street because motorcycles have a really bad time with it. And bicycles.
It's definitely against city ordinance, so, yeah. All right, thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Okay, moving on, unless there's any objection, Greg McKinney is here tonight. We'd like to move him up to the next and bump the other two down. He's got another commitment that he needs to be at as well, so a few meetings ago, we had talked and discussed about possibly some drag races at the airport runway, and you guys had some questions, concerns, and you wanted to ask Greg some questions, so here he is. Thanks for being here.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I'm used to saying that a lot.
Just a habit.
Yeah, it's a habit.
What are some of the questions that you guys, some concerns and questions you guys have?
I don't have any questions, but I'd like to take a moment. I initially, when I initially heard about this, I thought, oh, that'd be okay. Took the time to educate myself. Talked to several pilots, studied some history, and I've got some concerns. I looked at the layout that was projected for down there. And if you got a moment, I'd like to go over my concerns.
Sure, I'd love to answer them.
Number one, we've all watched Street Outlaws, and we've all watched
We're missing it right now.
all those things
Yeah.
that go on, and occasionally cars that are supposed to be shiny side up end up not shiny side up.
Exactly.
Needs to be a barricade between the lanes to keep them from doing that, but we don't have enough barricades to do that, and if you bring it in, my understanding of the airport, and I'm certainly not an expert, but my understanding is the original base for the airport was a chip and seal, and then it's been asphalted over that. We know what chip and seal roads are like because we've got many county roads that are very deteriorated,
Right.
especially the ones that have heavy traffic.
Right.
So we take a forklift and we're gonna bring a heavy barricade and drive up and down that airport, much heavier than an airplane is, to place the barricades, and then we're gonna drive up and down the airport to bring the barricades back off. Maybe that separates people from the cars from each other, but it doesn't do a thing if they run off the side of the road, which is soft shoulders. And we got, where's people gonna watch this from?
Okay, can I address those issues?
That's not all, but you go right ahead.
Okay, number one, this should not be anywhere, considered anywhere close to street outlaws, okay? As far as race cars go, the street outlaws are race cars. I mean, they're not, they can say what they want. They are all out, unbelievably fast race cars, okay? Like we're talking 220 miles an hour in 1/8 of a mile. We are not going to be dealing with that kind of a deal here. Every car that will be racing on the airport will be a street legal licensed vehicle. Okay? As far as putting barriers between them, there's not a racetrack in the world that has barriers between the lanes. They don't. I mean, They don't have barriers between the lanes. I don't think that would be an issue. They're streetcars, okay? I'm not gonna say that there won't be some race cars there. Any race car that goes down the airport will go by itself, not two at a time or anything else. The other thing is this is an opportunity for that airport to make money. I mean, I'm gonna put up $3,000 of my own money just to see if it'll work. Well, $3,000 plus $2,700 in insurance, so basically $6,000 of my own money to get this to come to town. This will be a big deal for this town.
I think that, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, there are many of us, when we were teenagers,
Sure.
used to race out on 73 highway,
You
used to
better
race
believe
on
it.
32 highway.
Yes, sir.
And just about any car, be going, I mean, even my crappy little car would go 80 mile an hour or so, running down through there. And the good cars go quite a bit faster than that.
Right.
I worked a lot of wrecks, cars that get off the highway, just driving down the highway, and they'll go a long ways when they get off the highway.
Yep.
Watched them go end over end, watched them roll side to side.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing to protect anybody that's out there. Here's the other thing. The airport, if something happens to damage the asphalt, if a car does this, it's gonna do some damage. I mean, it does that on highways too. I mean, it just does some damage. There's no way to get a contractor in here in any reasonable period of time, because we ourselves, as we've tried to get contractors to come down here and do our asphalt work, sometimes we've had to wait 2 months or more to get them to come in. We can't afford to have our airport down for an extended period of time, and we can't have planes trying to land on an airport that's got a big gouge in the asphalt somewhere. I mean, there's just, I think the risk for the pilots, after this is all over, a bolt, a piece of metal, whatever that might end up not where it's supposed to be on the runway, is a risk to the airport, to the pilots. The pilots are against it. We don't have the safety facilities really to keep everybody back. I know that up here, when we did the burnouts on the square, which is a slow speed, it's more smoke than it is speed, people were getting right up there around it until we finally put some barricades to keep them back.
Right.
So.
And we would do the same thing there. We would put the barricades up to keep the people back behind the barricades. I mean, as far as the spectator safety down the airport, they will be far enough off that there won't be any chance. And like I said, we're not talking fast cars. We're talking street cars, street legal. You said yourself that they were out when you're 16 years old out drag racing on 32 highway, which is safer.
Well, the difference in what we used to do out by Hales, out by Rocket Road, was we didn't have people lining the side of the road watching.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't. We all stood at where they took off.
Which is basically what nobody wants to be at the finish line of these things. Everybody wants to be at the starting line. I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. By people are automotive enthusiasts. It's going to bring a lot to this town.
Is there not any other location that would meet your needs?
Sure,
is there
Highway
not?
64. No.
64.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, how long are these things?
660 feet.
That's the race, or that's the run out?
That's the race. It's 660 feet.
And so how-
normally you'll need you'll need that distance to slow down.
Double the
Yeah,
amount.
double the distance to slow down for a fast car. You know, the slow cars are going to be done in 1,000 foot pretty easy.
So you have a race on Saturday. No one gets hurt. Maybe there's a wreck. Maybe it tears up the airport, the runway. We know how long it takes to get our roads paved around here because
Sure.
we've been dealing with it every year since I've been on the council. I mean, what would be the guarantee that you'd be able to come in Sunday and have the
And fix the pavement? Guys, I can't guarantee that, but I can also say that I've been around racetracks for 45 years, and I have never once seen something happen that would tear up a racetrack, ever. I mean, these are real racetracks with real race cars and the whole 9 yards. It just doesn't happen.
Have you seen them on an airport though, like a community airport? Like
Yeah,
we have?
absolutely. I've raced on airports before.
Yeah, with the same type of surface. I mean,
Yeah.
we have chip and seal, and then how thick is the paving? Is it 4 inches?
Probably.
And that's when it was done. When it was done 4 years ago.
Oh,
It's been longer
12.
than that.
It's been more than that.
overlay.
We did it. Okay. So it's not 4 inches thick anymore. It's
Right, right.
Scoot over, Rick, I want to know now.
Okay.
Let me introduce Claude Satterfield, okay?
The Air Force Base at Knob Noster has done that for years and years. That's an airport. They've done it for years. Allowed drag racing there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've
What's the
raced on
difference
it.
in the surface?
Huh?
The difference is the surface, I think, is what he's getting at. If you've got 4 inches of hot asphalt on a hot day and cars running down it, it's gonna change, it's gonna move. That asphalt's gonna separate, it's gonna spread. The weight of the vehicles, the speed that they're going, absolutely, even on a normal car.
You know, and a lot of my concern is with the revitalization we've done and the promotion we're doing, to me, this is a step back. I just Googled it, and the FFA is cracking down on dragging on airport runways, little airports. So, just a concern.
Are there any, other than watch them on TV?
Yeah, we're missing them tonight.
Yeah. Where's the closest one that maybe somebody here on the council could go and just kind of watch it? I mean, have you guys ever went to one of these things?
Not on an airport.
In Salina, we had it when I was in college out there, but I could hear them, but never went to them. And they used the old, well, which is no longer a military base, it's just, they just used it for National Guard or whatever, but, yeah, I don't know.
You know, it's like this. It's not gonna tear up the airport. I've been out and looked at the airport, at the asphalt on it and stuff. There's no way it's gonna tear up the airport. We will have cleanup crews that if something happens, if somebody blows an engine or if something did happen, we have cleanup crew that is there to clean it up, make sure that everything is back to ready to race. So, you know, we've got a full line of volunteers. We've got insurance already accounted for. I don't know what else to do.
So,
You know?
I know some of the other questions that the Alderman had at the the other meeting was, where would you park everywhere? Where would everybody park? And where would everybody park that's gonna be trailering their cars here? It's not everybody's
We've
gonna drive.
already addressed that. We would use the old Keys building parking lot and then drive through the park to get to the,
Is that for all the parking, like all the
that would be for all of
spectators
the
and
trailer parking.
all the trailer parking?
Yes. I figured we could use the city park for spectator parking.
On the roads or in the park itself, or?
In the park, I mean, you have to keep the road clear,
Yeah.
so.
Are you bringing in porta pots?
Uh-huh.
Where are those going to be set? I mean, 'cause
We can set them wherever, Terry. I mean, if you want to go down there and find a place to set them, I'll be more than happy to go down there with you
and find a place to do it.
See, the other thing that, you know, when I was fire chief here, I got reamed pretty hard one time because I was up at the airport where the beginning of it and needed to go to the other end, and I just drove right down through there, and I was told pretty quick in no uncertain terms that that wasn't allowed for me to do. So
If you got
you
caught.
don't- you don't drive on the, if you don't drive on the pavement, there's only one other place to drive, and that's in the grass.
Right.
And if it happens to be wet, then, okay, we get 100 cars, that's, I know, I've been to a lot of concerts and
Right.
festivals and stuff, I know what that does.
Yeah.
So,
And there's, you know, you can't count on the weather, but at the same time, if it's gonna be wet and it's gonna be a mess, then, you know, it's not gonna happen. You can't race on surfaces like that anyway.
one of the biggest things for me, aside from the safety issues, which I still have concerns about the safety issues, but one of the biggest things for me is, previously, and if somebody correct me if I'm mistaken, but the last time we had that topping put on the airport, my understanding was there was specific language in that grant that we were not allowed to do anything like this on it at that time. Now, if the FAA,
MoDOT's the one that gives you that grant for that, aren't they?
well, whomever gives
Is
it,
that where you get the grant for that? There's no stipulation that I knew of on that, because that, MoDOT's the one that gives you the money to do your resurface of your.
I'm not sure. I wasn't
It's
here.
FAA pass-through money from MoDOT, so.
yeah, the FAA is kind of the overriding agency. So, we have plans to try to be, you know, to do more at the airport. We consider that a key economic development thing for the community. We want to try to
And an extra
increase that.
$3,000 would go a long way towards helping that.
What we don't want to do is where the big pot of money that comes is from federal grants. And if we turn around and we hack off the people that issue those grants, because even if they don't say we're not going to tell you can't do it, but we don't like it, and we turn around and we do it anyway, then we're kind of messing in our nest right there for any future money that may come. We're going to depend on that money.
Yeah.
Like we've depended in the past for what we've done, because, you know. it
Has the
costs a
city
lot of
been
money.
told that they can't, absolutely can't do that?
Pardon me?
Has the city been told that they absolutely can't do that from the FAA?
I believe that Mr. Mayor checked, and they said, first it was no, you can't do it, and then it was yes, yeah, we'll let you.
I believe
But it was a no.
what I saw was a deal for MoDOT saying with certain specifications that you have to meet in order to do it, which we will gladly abide by. I mean, I didn't bring them with me, but I've got them at the shop, you know, showing what they want done, how they want it done, and the whole 9 yards. And I mean, we are here to abide by and help bring stuff to the city of Buffalo, and that's it. And we have supported the city of Buffalo, the Buffalo schools, the whole 9 yards for a long time. I mean, a lot. To support everything in this town. And that's what this is about. This is not about, I'm not gonna make a dime off of this. When we have a car cruise up here, okay, it costs me $1,500 out of my pocket to put that on.
He's telling the truth on that.
I don't get a dime out of it. I do that to support Buffalo. You know, and as far as there being any damage to the airport, there's not going to be any damage to the airport, Terry. I mean, and the safety issue, which would you rather have? Somebody drag racing out on 32 highway when they're 16 years old, hit somebody and kill them, or do it in a safe environment like racing on our airport? That's the whole deal, and you're going to have that. I promise you're going to have people that won't go to a drag strip, but they will come to this deal. I promise you.
Greg, if you could, because one of the concerns, Lonnie mentioned it, is, and I would like for you to address it.
Okay.
Is that there are several people that have put in a lot of volunteer work and hours and trying to improve the airport.
Sure.
And their perception is that's going to be a a black eye basically on the airport. To some, there's a lot of people obviously that would like it, but there are also
Sure.
a lot of people that are not supportive of it.
Sure.
And with all the work that they've put into it and, you know, them trying to move the airport forward as an airport and like Terry did say, as an economic part of the community, eventually we can get there. That's one big, I think that's one big concern. There are a lot of people that are not supportive of it have. And I guess what would you say to that is, as they've put in time, effort, their own money in that instance as far as the airport goes.
How are we going to be the black eye? I mean, what are we going to do to bring the black eye to the airport?
I think as far as, you know,
Like tearing down the facilities or
marking up the facilities, potentially damaging something, you know, just not being closed for potentially maybe a few weeks if something were to happen. Some of that stuff is, I think, some of the concerns that they have, that they've shared with me.
Okay. Well, I really don't know how to address that.
I didn't either.
You know, as far as being the black eye, I can assure you that we have volunteers to direct traffic, make sure that the crowd control is under control, make sure that people aren't driving where they shouldn't be driving and not cutting donuts in the grass and all of that.
Yeah.
If it did happen, I can also assure you that we would have somebody there to pick up, straighten up, clean up, and do whatever needs to be done. And we have all sorts of equipment at our, as we need it in order to take care of those issues.
Okay.
Let me read this. This is from our airport manager, Jeff Lilly, last Friday. Hi Terry, this is Jeff Lilly. I asked all of the active pilots at the airport about having a special event with the car drag racing, and most of them are against it. Just wanted to share that with you. That's just,
Okay.
that's what our airport manager sent me last Friday.
How many pilots do they have?
I don't know. He said most. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I'm not a pilot. So
Okay, yeah.
I can't
9
answer.
off the top of my head.
9?
9 off the top of my head.
Okay.
This particular piece of paper I handed you came from another pilot that called me and asked me to come down there and was very concerned. I've shared this list with all the aldermen as well, just so they see the same thing. So, also have a letter from an economic director in Higginsville from May 2021 that had to do with, they wanted to utilize their airport for drag racing. And it basically urges us to find that, let me see, I'm sorry, I'm reading as I speak. Find this contract that the city of Buffalo signed with MoDOT when the overlay was made. The city agreed to grant assurances that stated we would not use the runway for alternative uses. I've seen a copy of this contract and it either came from Debbie or MoDOT. Still looking for it, but I imagine Debbie can provide you with a copy. So, according to this letter from Economic Development Director Donna Brown, Higginsville, that they said that there was assurances in the MoDOT grant that we stated that we would not use the airport for alternative uses. I was not a part of that, don't know that.
You're quoting this man from Higginsville, is that right?
Yes. I have not seen that contract, so I can't speak with.
I mean, we could try and pull up the old contract that we got
Yeah.
whenever that was paid. I obviously wasn't here, so whenever it was done.
That was before my time on the council, so I was not involved in it.
Well, I don't see the negatives in the situation. All I see is the positives. So, I mean, I appreciate you bringing the negatives up to me because I don't see the negatives very often. But after hearing all of the negatives, I still think the positives outweigh the negatives. So, you have to think about what it could do for the city, the people that it would bring in, the revenue. I think there's a lot of good things. But that's all I've got.
We just need to see that contract. I mean, that's kind of, if it's in there. our
That
hands are-
contract was signed by the same lady who sent that email, so I don't.
Not to me.
No.
Just to Terry.
Oh, I thought the female.
Like I said, MoDOT has already signed off on it.
No, sorry, MoDOT lady. What was her name?
Donna Brown.
No,
Terry.
the MoDOT lady.
Oh, Millicent.
Millicent is the one who signed that contract they're talking about.
Oh. I guess I can ask her.
Yeah. So, I guess that's all I've got.
Just off the, when is drag racing season? I mean, is it it's not a year-round thing in Missouri, obviously, because of the weather.
Well, Street Outlaws is on all year round.
Yeah, they go all over the place, all right? They go south.
No, that we would, initially we'd like to do this probably sometime around the 1st of June. Somewhere around that time.
Okay.
If it worked out and it was good and the city was happy with it, we'd like to do it twice a year. And like I said, that would be a pretty big economic boost, $3,000 per time minimum. I mean, if there's a good gate and stuff, there could be more.
Does any other alderman have any other questions, comments?
I'd just like to see that contract, whenever we can find it.
Okay.
I mean,
Other than the contract,
no,
any other questions, comments? I know that Ron had some and he wasn't able to make it tonight because of his work. And James wasn't able to make it tonight, obviously, so. Are you gonna hold this separate from the cruise in?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, the only thing I can tell you, Greg, unless the board wants to make a motion and vote on it tonight, the only thing I can tell you is we won't have a second meeting in May, is what I was gonna talk to the board about later. So it'll only be the next meeting, the first meeting in May would be our,
Time is kind of a crucial deal here, guys, because it takes a while to get insurance and stuff done. I don't want to put you on the spot, but at the same time, I really need to get rolling if we're going to get rolling.
okay.
so it's May.
So you need to know tonight, is what you're saying?
It would be very helpful, yes.
So we need a motion from one of the board members, a second, then they vote.
Okay, well, that's out of my league, Your Honor.
I know.
Okay. Okay.
Is there a motion from the board? Guys, for lack of a motion, at this time, I don't know what, if June 1st was a dead set date, or, so,
Or June 30th. It could be at the end of June.
I appreciate you being here and answering the questions that the board brought up.
Okay, very good, thank you.
All right, Hickory Street road bid. So when we, Durham had made the agreement to put in or extend the water line along Hickory Street out to 73. In lieu of in lieu of doing the road, as we talked at that time, and we had discussed before, board, that our transportation budget is healthier than our water and wastewater budget. So they went ahead and in good faith went ahead and extended that water line all the way to 73. That's going to help us loop the water line like we've been wanting to do, which initially was going to cost around $700,000 when we very first time we got a bid on it. So we're just that much closer. So at the board's request from the last meeting, I did get some bids for widening Hickory Street from 73 to the Durham property. And so I was just going to bring those up tonight and have you guys vote on that. Durham spent roughly $40,000 on extending that water line. So we have 3 bids. One is from Do Right, who is actually the ones that put the water line in out there. They have some equipment left. And it's basically all of these are the same thing. Regrade existing drive to have a crown and be 30 feet wide. Place 3-inch base rock, 6 to 8 inches deep, 5 foot wide on the outside edge of the existing drive to support the widened roadway. So you got to dig it down 10 to 12 inches, 5 feet wide, and then build it back up with, heavy or big rock. Place a 4-inch thick layer of 1-inch base rock over the top of the entire roadway and cap it. Retrograde the slope existing parking lot driveway to have positive drainage, which Hickory Street actually goes along their parking lot on their building, beside their building. The only thing that would need to be done there is just cleaned off, and the ditch kind of worked a little. That's it. We were out there again today, talking with 2 of the contractors anyway. And that excludes the seeding, fertilizing, and mulch. So basically that's what all 3 companies bid. Do Right's bid was $32,500. Jarrett Excavating, their bid to basically do the same thing was $4,800.
4,800?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Sure they didn't forget a zero?
No, it's correct.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna explain to you guys here in just a minute part of this. I think Do Right bid the rock and everything, which we told them we've actually partnered with the county. The county is actually going to be hauling the rock for us and the spoils away, which saves the city money on the contractor side of doing that. So I'm very grateful to John and the other commissioners for working with us on getting that done. So I think that Do Right included the rock in their bid, which we told them when we asked for the bid not to include the rock. So that's why I think it's so much more.
So how do we compare apples to apples?
Well, as far as I'm concerned with this bid, if it is with the rock, then that's not what we asked for. So
Right.
we kind of,
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, I'll tell you how much an estimate is on the rock cost, because I've got an estimate on one of these bids for the loads, of how many loads it's gonna take. And it's even with the cost of these other 2 companies that are, Jarrett's Excavating's $4,800, S&P is $4,500, S&P Services. 4,500. They estimate 24 loads of rock, which are 20-ton truckloads of rock, which is 480 tons. At our cost at the quarry is $8 a ton, which comes out to $3,840. But if you were to buy it and have a trucking company, 24 loads, and you were to buy it and have them come in, you're talking probably another $5,000 on just hauling expenses. If you were to hire a company to do it instead of, there's not on any of them.
Just for us. It
Okay.
looks like since you got 2 good ones. 2
Yeah.
equivalent, I think they understood the scope.
I've met with all 3 of them. They all 3 were given the same direction. So,
Of the 3, how many reside within Dallas County?
well, one of them resides in Dallas County, the other one's just on the Polk-Dallas line and has done a lot of work in Dallas County. And both of them have, S&P and Jared Excavating are both reputable companies, do really good work. Both, I wasn't able to ask Do-Right. Do-Right actually just sent me this bid.
Do-Right's done work for us with
Yes.
bonding and all of that, so I don't.
At 5:30, 6 o'clock tonight, so.
Recently.
So our rock bid is, I put it at 3,900. That's an estimate. They're estimating based on what they've got to do with the road.
So either of the two cheaper bids are, they're reputable and you're comfortable with either one of them?
John and I have both met with both of them.
So you don't have a preference there?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the lesser of the two would be my recommendation, cost-wise.
That's the one I like to go with, the cheapest, most economic bid. I make a motion, we accept the bid from S&P for $4,000.
Second.
So, on top of that, we put in the same bid the cost of rock.
Our personal area.
Do you
Stand by.
Do you need to approve up to a certain amount? John will probably know more about the rock cost than we would.
It's just how many loads you need, you know what I mean, that's the thing, so, and we did also supply a road.
S&P.
Yeah, I just want to check, I'm just.
Okay.
We need to alter the bid, motion.
Rock it on the, or bid up to. You're talking 8,400 total for rock, yeah. S&P's bid. But it could go a little bit more than that.
Other minutes from, hold on, let me see other minutes from last meeting. Because I thought you guys made motions last meeting to proceed, and so.
Why don't we make it, why don't we alter it, make it up to 9,000, just to give you a little wiggle room for the gravel, for the rock, and the work. Would that be enough?
I would imagine so. She's gonna look up the minutes from last
I was
week.
thinking you guys made a motion, but I've got them on my computer, I just hit the wrong year. Didn't come to last meeting.
You know, when he was talking about that racetrack.
You understand that most of those trucks per load are charging between $350. So, you know,
How's that
we're
gonna
getting each
come
load
back
for
into Hickory?
160.
Do the park?
They will connect that right now.
They made a motion to proceed
It's
with the
like,
plan of last meeting.
it's like
so I don't
Alberta,
think
it
it's
never stops and then starts again, yeah.
Okay.
personal opinion.
If it ever
Just
would
approving
come through,
the
we'd
contract.
already named.
Okay. So we'll just need to approve that.
Because they
So we
made,
did make the motion.
they made a motion to proceed with his plan, which was for the city to provide the rock up to $30,000, so.
Okay. So the motion stands.
Motion stands.
And second.
Let me get that motion typed in there, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I was
nope, you're
checking to
fine.
make sure everybody was legit with the Missouri Secretary of State. So, just a technicality that I didn't think to do this afternoon. But it doesn't hurt to double check. You can ask me how later on and I'll tell you. Okay, so Terry made the motion, Scott seconded the motion, is that right?
Second.
Brandon second.
Brandon seconded it.
Oh, I'm so
Okay,
sorry,
good.
Brandon, I just about shorted you a second. Terry.
Aye.
Lonnie.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brandon.
All right. Thank you all. We'll move on to bank bids. Andrew's been patiently sitting there waiting. So, you guys have a kind of a summary of the two bank bids that we did receive, which one was from O'Bannon, which we currently have, and the other's with OMD. This is for a 3-year period. And you guys can read that. I mean, O'Bannon has offered a floor a percentage of 1.5%, won't go below that, on earnings on interest on our money in the bank. On our checking account, the rate being the federal funds rate. 75% of the federal funds rate, is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
The current rate would be 3.62% right now, and on September 30th, at the end of our fiscal year, was 3.08%. And you guys can read OMB's offered rate of 3.55 on the checking account, a flat rate, no fluctuation for the next 3 years. And Debbie gives a couple of just references on the money.
Those refer to dates I specifically asked for interest rates on.
So the one thing that, and I'm sure you guys are doing this, that I want you to take into consideration as well is, OMB has been an up and coming. They're doing a lot of good things. O'Bannon's been a community player for as long as I can remember. I think they've been really good to us throughout the years. I just want you to keep in mind of that give back to the community as well. So, because that should mean a lot too.
I'm just confused. This,
Yeah.
that O'Bannon A, is that a typo? It says 49.85, or should that be 79.85?
No, that's right.
It's what? Okay.
Yeah, because the rate, that would have been the rate on A at.
September 30th.
September
September
30th.
30th, 22.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, you don't need a motion.
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the O'Bannon bid to continue our checking account.
Banking services. Sorry.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
banking services.
I will second.
Okay.
Beat you. Yeah, you did.
Terry,
Aye.
Brandon,
Abstain.
Scott,
Aye.
and Lonnie.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you guys very much. Sidewalk replacement, number 6, you guys also have on this summary Debbie typed up. These are the partnerships. Thank you, Andrew. These are the partnerships between the businesses and the city on replacing sidewalks on the businesses around the square. The first one at 119 North Cedar, the estimated total cost for Jody Lane is $230. And it is half of that, correct?
Yes.
So it'd be, he would pay $115 and we'd pay $115 to put it in. Unless you guys have any objections, we can do them together, I think. And TJ Matthews or Thomas Matthews with the Boss Detail, thank you. Jeez, oh my gosh. At 112 East Franklin, estimated total cost of $635. So you'd be the $317.50 and we'd be $317.50 and putting it in, so. Without objection, just need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Lonnie,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye.
Budget modifications. Fiscal year ending in 9/30/23.
This is just Mark, a lot of times we don't do them in March, but Martha and Brandon wanted me to do them so that I could spend a little time with Martha going over how we do budget modifications and all that fun stuff. So everything that you all have approved that wasn't in the budget has been added into the budget. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So I did, sales taxes looking up, so I did increase sales tax by quite a bit. As is the price of new cars, used cars, so that caused our motor tax fee to be increased, along with, I'm sure everybody notices an increase in their electric bill. So that increases in there too. Those are strong numbers that I don't see not continuing. Does anybody have any specific questions?
Notice our list of delinquent taxes doesn't ever seem to go down much, does it?
No. But, you know, we sell them at 3 years if it doesn't, so it's just a technicality by state statute that we had to send that to you. We had some problems with the tax book, so therefore we didn't get it to you at the first meeting. So we wanted to go ahead and get it to you for this meeting. It's the reason you didn't have it the first meeting. We're waiting on the company to tell us what button I had hit wrong in the tax program, so. It's just kind of quirky, but we work through it and we love it a lot more than having to, what we used to do, so.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the budget modifications. No other conversation.
Did you have something, Scott, or you good?
No, I'm good with this. I like that number.
Yeah.
Cover the sheet. Terry,
Aye.
Brandon,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Lonnie.
Aye.
Thank you all. Resolution 2023-02, annexation of Durham.
I'll make a motion.
This is one time, just to proceed with the process of annexation for them.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-2.
Second.
It's a tie.
Give it to Terry. Age before beauty.
Okay, Brandon,
Aye.
Lonnie,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
So bill number 2023-10, an ordinance repealing section 600.020 relating to the liquor license fees for the city of Buffalo, Missouri Code, and enacting a new paragraph 600.020 related to the same.
Is this just an updated fees?
This is to allow for a caterer's license. They would apply as any other would. At this time, what they would do is they would have to provide proof of their state liquor license, fill out the application, submit it to the board for approval at this time, and allow, like at the venue, either one of the two venues, BAV, some other places that would want to serve during an event, have it catered, they would be allowed to do this by this part of the ordinance, so. And we had requests from the people that own the venue to have this happen, so.
Just a single one?
Oh,
That's
it's a
it.
dual, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve bill number 2023-10, first reading.
I'll second.
Scott,
Aye.
Brandon,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Lonnie.
Aye.
Bill number 2023-10, second reading and final passage.
I'll make a motion, we approve bill number 2023-10, second reading.
I'll second.
I'm gonna give it to Brandon. When I'm typing, it's whoever.
Yeah, age before beauty.
Competition is fierce up here tonight.
Brandon,
Aye.
Lonnie,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Just FYI, in the future, we're gonna ask our legal counsel to have, so there are there's a temporary license, which is a 1 up to 7 days. There is a 50-day license, and then there's a 1-year license, which gives them unlimited uses. There's fees for each one. At this time, for each one of those, they have to submit it, and it has to come to the board. Part of the concern of Martha's and mine as well is if there happens to be an event come up and they're going to have saleable liquor catered at that event, and we just had a board meeting, and our next board meeting's 2 weeks out, that temporary maybe give the okay based on if all the paperwork's filled out to the clerk at that time at the direction of the mayor or whatever, that we can make it a little more seamless on the temporary, that 1 to 7 days.
Similar to what to do with a business license.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. be a temporary, but it would only be for a temporary use anyways for that,
Right.
whoever's gonna be putting the event on. So that, just look for that maybe potentially in the future too, so. Thank you all. Bill number 2023-11, an ordinance adjusting the rate for employees' wages the remainder of the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023. If you guys remember that when we approved the budget at the end of September for October 1 fiscal year, we were only able to give the inflation rate at that time was over 9%. We were only able to give the 4.5% to the employees. And I did tell them at our 6-month mark, when we reviewed the budget, that if we were able to, we'd give them that additional 4.5%. And as you guys heard Debbie saying, you've seen the numbers now, we were able to do that additional 4.5%. So that's what this is.
I'll make a motion to approve bill number 23-11.
Second.
Brandon,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Lonnie.
Aye.
All right, bill number 2023-11, second reading, final passage, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I heard it that time.
Scott,
Aye.
Lonnie,
Aye.
Brandon,
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
All right, 10B, remember we added at the beginning of the modifications to the agenda, how about that?
Sound system.
Sound system.
Sound
right?
system, there it is. $1,167 without objection, just approval from the board to move forward with that.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
motion?
Yep.
Second.
And a second.
James, oh, sorry, Brandon,
Aye.
Lonnie,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
Citizens' comments?
I know in the last meeting, I brought up the situation with the roof. How's that coming along? You said that there was some significant movement there?
Not significant movement. The attorney has the information, is reaching back out to their not COO, CAO maybe.
One of them.
One of the
One of the-
Cs.
One of the Cs,
yeah. So I don't have any additional information at this time. We're just waiting to hear back what they're probably gonna go ahead and just, my hope is pay the amount and move on.
Probably be smart. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any of the citizens' comments? Commissioner, you wanna say a few things about some things coming up? I have some mayor's comments too after this, so I might,
Add in?
yeah, I might add in too, so, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I don't mind a bit. Some things going on at the fairgrounds. My fairground hat on now. The 4-H, we had some graffiti painted on garage doors. Joe's Hardware donated the paint, and a 4-H group went down and painted the doors to cover up the graffiti down there. If you've not been down to the fairgrounds, the fair board paid for a new fence that goes along the west side of the fairgrounds now, chain link, 6 foot high to match the other. They paid for the full cost of it. Also the rewiring, and it finished it up this weekend, the old cattle barn, so I have all brand new wiring in it. Our county fair is June the 22nd through the 24th. We had our weigh-in this week at 35 hogs, 7 steers, 2 goats, and 4 sheep for our market sale, which will be on June the 22nd. We did use the airport for one steer that broke away, and I used it to drive down to get around the steer and do that there. So
Sounds acceptable.
it is. I figured it would be. We did catch the steer.
Good.
So again, many things going on with the county and city. We've got things coming up. We did get the roof done on the courthouse, so that stuff will all be leaving and get parking places back. We're having a walk around tomorrow to finalize that there, and then the remodel of the courthouse will begin shortly after that. We have approved the remodeling of the courthouse at $1.5 million, so you're going to see a lot of upgrades in that, which should make it look better around the square. Also, we will probably have to take out some trees that are around the courthouse, as they are causing breaking the walls and the cement downstairs, causing us water leaks, and I really don't want to tear up our roof with the leaves and the limbs falling on our roof over there. So those are some things that are there that's happening around here. Glad to work with the city. We've got some good things in our future, and I look forward to us working together.
Well, you may have to get some of them palm trees on the way out to Nexa, you know, I don't think those roots would grow into your concrete.
That might be the only way we keep it, you know. So.
I appreciate the updates very much, John, and the partnership. We're doing a lot of good things together, and I really appreciate you guys helping us out with that roadway, so.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to help.
And the recycling plant.
And the recycling plant.
Yes.
Along those issues, I've been talking with some individuals that there's some grant money that's possibly out there. We're past the grant time this year, but next year they are encouraging us to be involved in that. So we would there again, I'd like to have an individual that could go to the meetings. I'm meetinged out, you know, but if we could get somebody on there that would represent our county. They tell me there's money available for our county for the recycling plant. I know Polk County made a desire to have 20,000 given to the recycling plant over there. Don't know how much that 20,000 is there, but they tell me that there's about 350,000 that they give out in grants every year, and that we would be one of the people that could get part of that money.
And we're maybe going to be meeting with her.
We're going to meet
in the near future.
Yeah, here in the near future.
And where was she from?
Springfield.
What was you remember the name of the business or
Ozarks
nonprofit?
OH, I think she's.
Ozarks Headwaters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have done some stuff with them in the past. So.
Yeah, and she's wanting us to be involved again, and says that we can get some money.
Okay.
So for that. Okay.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Any of the citizens' comments? Okay, I've got a few mayor's comments. My ask to the board was actually about the second meeting in May, which would be the Memorial Day week, or Memorial Day. In the past, we've not had that second meeting unless something came up that we needed to meet after the first meeting. So without objection, you guys really want to have that second meeting?
That's a paid holiday, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't want to come.
So, if something comes up after our first meeting in May, before then, we'll obviously schedule a meeting if we need to, so. Something that I've talked with the commissioners a little bit about, and the presiding commissioners here tonight, and something that we talked about early on in the year, late last year as well, is proposed marijuana tax, getting it on the ballot for August ballot. We will have that language. We talked with our attorney about that a few meetings ago. We'll have that language available for the next meeting. It has to be approved by the board to be put onto the ballot by the end of May. And since we're not going to have a second meeting in May, we have to do it the next meeting. So I want to make you aware that that is coming up. Is it okay to mention the commissioners today approved their part of it to be added to the ballot in come August? So.
Is it going to be the same vote? I mean, is it going to be two different, separate one? Like, will the city, will the county, will it be together?
They will have to vote
separate
separate.
votes.
Yeah. And did you guys determine is it 3%?
3%.
And it'd be a 3% sales tax in the city as well, so. Which I think after April's elections, it was kind of a, I don't know if I saw any community that didn't pass
get
it,
it.
I
so.
hope it's the same success rate it was in April.
Yeah.
I want to make a comment also. Sandy had mentioned to me, Sandy Crawford, our senator, our representative at the state level. We've been having some roadblocks with MoDOT about getting our fuel started. The fuel is the first thing at the airport that we were starting to get. And kind of in true MoDOT fashion, they're going through the process, but it's really, really, really slow, and we're wanting to push that along. And Sandy, I spoke with her a couple of weeks ago. She texted me, and she had already she'd asked me some questions where we were at, and talked with some MoDOT representatives. I was just talking to John. She just talked with him again about, let's get this thing rolling. I know that the governor at the time as well had made a comment or statement to MoDOT is no holdups, no roadblocks. Let them get their projects done that we, appropriated this money for. So very appreciative of seeing if they're pushing for us to get these projects that we were given this money for going. So, as many of you know as well, and I want to mention this because I want it in the paper and I want everybody here to know, before the next meeting, because it will be, as far as Debbie in her current role, her last official meeting with the city. She's retiring in June. We may be able, fortunate enough, toward in the budget time and at different times be able to have her come and kind of work as a PRN part-time to help us through some of those situations. But the next meeting we will be approving Talia as the city's clerk. And does Martha get approved as city administrator?
Martha will approve her effective the end of the month, because she's taking a 2-week vacation.
Yes.
At the end of my time, so we need Talia to be approved so that it'll just make everything easier.
Seamless.
So we'll have those all dates. Kind of like tonight, we have everything laid out for you.
So, with that being said, against Debbie's wishes, we're going to have a reception here before the next meeting. It's going to start at 5 o'clock and go until 6:30 roughly. So I want everybody who wants to tell Debbie how much they appreciate what she's done for the city over the last 30 plus years. It's a long time to hold a job, number one, and number two, with changing administrations throughout all these years. I can't imagine, because I haven't been doing it a third of that. Well, a little over a third of that. I want to pull the little hair I have left out. So, so we're gonna have a reception for Debbie. It'll be here in the municipal building. We'll have cake, we'll have cupcakes, punch, coffee, tea. I would like for anybody and everybody to come and wish, tell Debbie thank you and very appreciative of what she's done for the city, and wish her well in her future endeavors. She will leave, she takes a lot of knowledge with her. Fortunately, she's agreed that we can contact her too when we need to, but big shoes to fill. So with that being said, we're going to have that before the next meeting, first meeting in May, which will be the only meeting in May, at 5 o'clock here. So, any questions?
On the reception or other questions?
Other questions? I guess on the reception or other questions.
Update on the safety facility?
So that was another conversation I've got to have with Sandy this week. They're in the final stages of approving the budget. Is that right, John? And so we're about $1 million over what we were appropriated on the initial numbers through the architects. So I'm going to talk to Sandy and see if there's what direction she might give me as far as how we can obtain that additional $1 million, if it's maybe some more appropriated funds, or
Fire the architects?
well,
There's a statute inside.
yeah, or if we need, what our options are basically. And so that's where we're at the moment. I don't want to go to the property owner yet without having some sort of a finalized, hey, yeah, we've got it, we're rolling forward. Let's do what we have to make this happen. So,
What about the cost of the property?
Well, depends on which property we come up with.
Exactly.
So we might be, we might be able to get at a very discounted rate. The other we'd have to pay. I don't know what that is yet, though. I have no idea. And I didn't want to ask until we had to pay to move forward, because I don't want to be premature about it and say, yeah, we want to do it, and then we're still a year out, not even having the plan ready, so. Does that answer your question?
That's good, yeah.
Any other comments, questions before we have a
Rick wants to show off.
oh, yeah, we have closed session. You want to do that during session or open, or do you want to do it in the interim?
I just want to do it this evening.
So Chief Cunningham, after last meeting, approved the purchase of the battery-operated extrication equipment. He went and picked it up today. It's sitting on the table. He wants to show you guys. Maybe open some of the doors in here with it.
The safe.
Yeah, the safe, yeah. But I think it's a good idea. Thank you for bringing that, Chief, for them to see. I think it's important that they see what they approved to purchase, so, along with the grant that we received for it. Yes.
Hey, that money fell from the sky, she said it herself. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't take credit for that.
Uh-huh, we all know.
Kinda did fall from the
It
sky.
kinda did. And
Next
we're
time
very,
I just throw it up like that, whoever grabs it first is theirs.
and we're very appreciative for it as well.
Right?
Very appreciative for, so. If there's nothing else, then I just need a motion to, adjourn open. We have a closed session scheduled for personnel. And then we'll take about a 7-minute recess.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, quick recess.